Well, welcome everyone to our monthly senior living call for Matrix. As you know, every month there's some newer staff on here. So every month we try to get together and we go through things that I'm hearing are challenges for the previous month. If I'm getting a lot of calls on one subject, I tend to try to review that subject on our monthly call. You can email me ideas. We can always Zoom one-to-one. As you know, I try to be very available for you guys. And I try to get back to you as soon as I can when you're having any issues. But every month it's nice to get feedback, get our group together, talk about our wishes, our wants, and so that it should be a pretty interactive meeting. I'm just going to go ahead and start with a couple things that we had some problems with in the last month, and it's our discharges, our do's and don'ts. And we do have a checklist for a discharge, so it's really helpful to use the checklist and make sure that when we are discharging people, that the nurses are not doing the census of a discharge or expired. The nurses should only put them on a therapeutic hold with the rent continuing, whether they're expired or moving out. Doesn't matter which one you pick. Because if you discharge them, you take away the rent. And rent, according to most of your leases, is at least 14 to 30 days prior or after the move out or after a death. So we don't want to discharge them. Plus we still have documentation to do. And if you discharge them in census and matrix, it stops that ability in senior living. So again, if you're following the checklist, you want to do a clinical note, why they moved out. You want to do the medications. You want to document in that summary. There's a discharge summary form found in senior living. And I can pull that up for you, how to find that. So let's log into senior living. And I have to move our pictures. Okay, I'm on the training site. So where we want to go, hang on 1 second, my pictures are in the way here. Where we want to go is up to our clinical and then to our forms. And now with the last update last month, every time you log into forms, it is automatically highlighting this first form. So if you go directly to new now, it will only bring up Jane's fall risk. You have to remember to uncheck that first row every time you log in, or all you're going to get is Jane. You have to unclick and then you can see the resident that you're trying to do. You would add a new form. You would go down and do discharge summary and you could add that form. And then you would answer the form, date services were initiated, the end date, the reason, what you did for a summary of services, which is very important in Minnesota. So if they started out with only med management and then by the end they were on hospice and full cares, you do want to note that. Why they are discharging, what their condition is, if they're expired, and then here's 7, the medications, and I think most of us now have MedSafe. Did you print this off and give this to the physician? Maybe you're sending a discharge summary with you to the skilled. You just want to put that in here. And then of course you would hit save when you're done. And finalize that form. And then of course you would do a clinical note. And then housing would then take care of doing a note of when their personal belongings were out, and then they will take care of that last discharge census in matrix. And they should be doing that in real time and not post-dating that census of discharge, because then senior living can't read that census. And so when it goes past the discharge, they're still active in senior living. And that's an issue. So Patty is working with the billing side team to make sure that we stay on that so that it's current. We want all censuses to be current, real time. Any questions on discharges? Okay. EMR work list, just a little reminder that you do control your work list for your staff, and I just want to show you what that looks like. So when you're signing on to your work, so if I'm today at, where is my demo site? Well, let's go into St. Gabriel's. And I say, yes, all these work lists, these are what you control. And so you have the ability to change your work list whenever you want for your staff. So just going to remind you how to get there. Can everyone see my screen okay? I'm going to pop into St. Gabriel since I was on them so you can see. When you're in your facility and you're going to your facility tab, if you go facility EMR work list setup, that's where you control all these groups here. So here's all my EMR work lists, and that one that says just Care Assist, that is mine. So I don't want you guys to use that. Don't ever edit that one. But under each assignment, you'll see here there's an AL nurse only and there's a basic care nurse only work list. If I want to see who's in there, I can hit the edit button. I could rename this if I wanted to, but who's assigned is if I hit that little triangle, it's very light here on the side, I can pick whatever rooms that I want her to take care of, or him. Shouldn't be sexist, should I, Josh? Him or her. And so if I didn't want them to see certain rooms, I could uncheck them. The only care levels that you should be using are assisted, catered, memory care, and basic care. All these other floors no longer work. If you don't have Z's in there, you should. That means that those no longer exist. And then whatever flow sheets you want that nurse to see, right now they can only see the nurse administration, or they could have the labs if you wanted that. But remember, this is for the EMR. So this is what they're seeing, who they're taking care of, passing meds and or cares. Once you're done editing that, you can just hit save. If this no longer needs to exist, you just take the date out and then it'll go into your inactive side. So you can view inactive work list groups and you can see these are the old, and then I can view the new ones and these are the new ones.
There we go.
So if you need help, it's not something that we do a lot of. If you need help, you can always reach out and I'll either give you a verbal reminder or we can set up a Zoom and I can help walk you through that. Most of the time, the people who have those independent living people and they're coming on and off services and you need to put them on a work list, take them on off a work list, this is when you're going to use this the most. If you have an assisted living or memory care, or basic care, all your people are pretty much already assigned. So it's more for those coming and goings of residents. Any questions on that? I don't see any chats. Just a reminder for your month-end reconciliation, just a question. Are you doing this with your billing people and your housing managers if you're getting together? If you're not, we need to start getting you to do that to make sure that senior living is matching what you're billing out. So I can help you set up that meeting. We can walk it through a few times. We're not going to go through it today because we have a lot to go through right now with our updates that's coming tonight. So just a reminder. And then does everyone know how to do your batch charting for the flu or COVID injections or testing? Just kind of wanted to go through that because there's a community that was doing it by hand still. So when you're doing anything in bulk, so when your flus come or your or you're doing that COVID testing, there's something under your facility tab called preventative healthcare batch entry. And here's the 3 items that you can put in batches. If you're doing an influenza vaccine, you can put that in, the date it was created. If it was in-house, you can answer all the questions. I must be missing something. And then what's nice is you can select all your units.
Okay.
And then if you have some that don't show up, then you can uncheck them. So then you can chart them all at once, very fast. It will save you a lot of time. Any questions on batch charting? All right. We have the new senior living and care assist release update today. Coming up at 1 a.m. Matrix will be down probably from 1 to 2, 1 to 3 a.m. So make sure your staff are aware. The launcher is under construction right now. And so just to show you what the launcher is, it is these buttons here. This is how it used to look. It will be changing to look a different way. So if I go, let me go to another facility. Because I just heard from somebody that theirs has been changing today. So we'll go to that. And you'll see her launcher. Oh, it's not changing for me. Her launcher is changing where she has just the words going up and down instead of these pictures. So let me see if I can show you what it's going to look like. Hang on 1 second, I'll show you. So this is what someone's is looking like already. You can see the picture right here. And so it is going to change. And so some of her icons are missing. And so Matrix is working on that. But The next exciting thing is now when you're doing an evaluation and they're independent living and they're no longer on services, we can stop that next due date. This is really exciting for those. Where's my senior living? For those independent residents, when you're doing their evals and they're coming off of the service and you have the next due here and it's red because they've been independent, we're not really doing cares anymore for them. They don't want us at all. We can now stop that from showing up. And this is how it's going to do. So when you're finished with your evaluation, you have your effective date, you're going to choose your type, and then it's going to say, do you want to ignore that next due evaluation schedule? And you will check it. And then once you finalize that, it will no longer come up for you to do again. Now, this would only happen with our independent living residents or our catered living, same word, interchangeable. So those that live in that community and they're no longer going to be on services, you'll have to open up that evaluation, do a change of condition, unschedule all their services, write an explanation about why they're coming off, and then you would do this at the end. So it's now a chance for us, and that should be up and running by tomorrow. So that's great. I'm sure everyone's excited about that. I wonder if Molly's on. Molly will be super excited if she's not on. Then we have an updated report. The detailed residence care report is doing some updates. You'll see it has a new name. It's going to be called Detailed Resident Care Daily Report. You can do it by levels or points, so it'll be in the same location, but it's going to look a little different. Minnesota, you now have a discharge summary roster. It will work just like the resident roster does, but you have to go through the forms with the discharge summary and look for the discharge roster. It will be a form that you will fill out. It won't be linked to the eval. And then it'll create that report for us. So if they come in, we can do the roster, the current client roster, and then your discharge roster. So that will be out starting tomorrow. I will update that discharge checklist to add that on for Minnesota. And then you guys should be able to see it tomorrow. They're still cleaning up a lot of the reports, and so some of them won't be done till next year. Again, that new launcher is coming out. That won't affect any downtime for your matrix. So we did have to clean someone's cache in order for that to kind of clean up. And so I did send you that today. And if you're wondering what that is, it's kind of cleaning your history and cleaning up your computer a little bit. So after the release tomorrow, I would go ahead and probably clean up your computer a little bit. And this kind of walks you through. You guys all have Google Chrome, so you would do your directions for Google Chrome, and then go ahead and refresh your browser with your F5 key on your keyboard. And then that should make some of these updates appear a little bit better for you. So I did send you those directions. Oh, Molly. I'm glad you're on, Molly. I was so excited to show you. Diane, are they adding more room for clinical notes so we can get information we need in one note instead of editing out two critical information or having two? That was not on the update, Diane. That was submitted by me into the client community, but everybody has the opportunity to go on client community and request updates that they would like, and then you have to vote on each other's suggestions, and then the votes do make a difference on how fast things get rolled out. You should have enough room pretty much to do a clinical note. So I don't hear too much that there's not enough room from other communities. So perhaps, you know, we don't want to overchart either. So maybe you can condense somehow what you need to put in, but at times you might need 2 clinical notes. I'm not sure, but we have the max right now. The other thing I want to let you know is there is going to be a preferred name that will flow to your banner, and it will be created by your face sheet. So as you're putting in now your information into people's face sheets, there's going to be a section for preferred name. And so this is really important for everyone who's getting the person-centered surveys. They really want to know that we're calling people by their preferred name, and that is going to be on the banner now. So that will be a change tomorrow, and that will be nice. It will show up right on the banner, just like the picture. The only setup that requires is that we're going to have to go in and put that into the face sheet for everyone. So just a little workaround. Oh, I do have a picture of the new navigations. I thought I did. Yep, Casey, if you need more room, I would go in and vote on my update or put in the request too, because it does make a difference if you guys vote on each other's things. So I do try to add in everything that comes to me, but it's always good for you guys to go in that client community and vote, because it makes it go faster. Again, I put in here on the notes how to clear your caches. And then non-transmitting discharge orders. We don't do transmissions at this time with a pharmacy, except for potentially Villa St. Benedict does do transmitting orders to their pharmacy and back. But there is an upgrade for non-transmitting orders. But these discharge orders are nice. So it's going to be like if you want to put these orders, all your orders into a discharge order, and then you can print it out and hand it to, you know, wherever they're going to. It'll be a nice feature. At our conference in September, we are going to be looking at e-prescribing and PCOE. So that'll be more of a direct talk from the physicians talking right to the pharmacy, and the pharmacies putting all our orders in, and then we just have to come and approve them. And there's 2 different types. So we'll be looking at both, and then we'll be making a decision between the communities, which one people like. So more to come on some of the PCOE and e-prescribing. I can certainly show you how to get onto the client community. It was put in, if you remember back to your orientation checklist, I gave you the URL, but you can find the URL also under eSource under your toolkit for URLs for Matrix. And I'll go over that in just a second. I'll sign in and show you guys how to get on. Just to go over some open matrix items, I have a request in to be able to do an every other week, not twice a month scheduling, so that you can do it like every other Monday or every other Thursday. Also for billing purposes, we did figure out that to bill a reoccurring charge, if we had a week, I'm going to put an example in here. If we have a weekly shower and that's all they get, we would not put them into a level. It would be 4 points, right? Instead of putting them into a level 1, which is about $500, we would just charge the a la carte 30-minute service at, what is it? Let's just pretend it's $17 an hour or 15 minutes. So that would be $34 per week, right? So if you take that $34 and multiply times 52 weeks. Hang on, I gotta get my calculator. Let's see, 34 times 52. That is $1768 per year. And you divide that by 12 months. And that's $147.33 per month. So now billing is going to do this. Patty went through this with them. So if you have an a la carte charge for $34, instead of tracking that every month and having to put that charge in every month, billing knows now to take that, multiply it times 52 weeks, get your year, divide it by 12, and now that's our monthly charge that they'll see on their bill. So $147 is a lot cheaper than the 500 level 1, which is why we want to utilize our reoccurring charges for a la carte. Going forward, Matrix is working on this issue, so we can do reoccurring charges, but right now, if we put them in, it only does it for 4 weeks, so it's not ongoing. So we're working very closely on correcting this, but that is the workaround for now. And it's pretty easy to figure out. If you have questions, I can help you. We'll work with your billing people. We'll get that done. The Minnesota roster should be fixed. Hopefully with this release, we'll see how that goes. I'm keeping my fingers crossed, but I'll be optimistic, so we'll see. And then just an update on therapy. We were going to have therapy be able to load all their notes right into our documents, which they do on the skilled side. We can't do that because of the independent living residents who are not on services. It would be a HIPAA violation, and so our legal department has advised us that we cannot do this. So that's going to be the end of that one. We were hopeful for something else. We have a new side rail assessment, 6.22 is out now, and that is already attached to the evaluation. We were going to just do some trials on it, but it automatically connected, and so it's out. So if we have to make changes, we will do that later. Wisconsin has no changes. Illinois, I'm still waiting to work on their new evaluation per their, they had a survey, so we need to do some changes. We haven't met yet. North Dakota, I have the evals ready to roll. I just have a couple communities who I notified today. They have some evaluations they need to do prior to the release of the newer evals, or we'll lose all the copying over. So just waiting for people to get those done. As soon as they're done, your new AL eval and your new basic care evaluation will be out. And we had a regional meeting last month, last week, and we made a lot of changes for North Dakota. I won't go into that because you all know. And then for AL Missouri, there already is a form for your annual TB symptom check in senior living that they have to do annually. It's under your form, so just remember it's there. And the Matrix is connecting that CBA form every 6 months to the eval. Although the nurses are not always the person who can do the CBA, you have to be certified. So that's going to be a real communication piece back and forth that you guys need to work on. Great. Let me see if there's any question. No questions. Okay. The client community is this link here, and there is a link for you guys in under the toolkit, as I said, under the URLs. Let's see if I remember my password off the top of my head. So when you first try to log into this Matrix Care and you won't have a password, it's going to have you sign up and it's going to put your email information in, and then they'll email you your they'll email you a password if you don't have one. And obviously, I have to look through my book here. Oh. It's going to take me 5 times to get on, I see. When you come onto the community, there's all these topics. You can come on here and you can learn about things. You can look at releases coming up. There's little information webinars, there's events, there's product ideas, there's discussions that go on. But the number one thing that I like is the ideas. So under ideas, it always says long-term care, even though it's all the products, which I put in an update that they should correct that. And you'll see here, everyone's ideas come in here. And then if you like it, you vote on it or you comment on it. And how you vote is over here on the side. I gotta move. So then if you like this, you know, you give them a thumbs up or a thumbs down. And you'll see this one's implemented. This one's a future consideration. This one is implemented, future consideration. So it's for everything throughout all the 3 products. So then you can track your ideas, which you can see the more points I get for things, the faster it comes out. And so this one is already scheduled for a roadmap. This one's a resident calendar, future consideration. So all the ideas that you guys asked me about, I put in here. This one was already implemented. Forms. So everything that is here, I have 10 pages of ideas just from you guys that I'm constantly putting in. So the more points you get, the faster it gets implemented. Although because we're a big company, they do look at our ideas more than other people's, I believe, because I get a lot of stuff put through. You have my learning, which is great. So if you have new staff, you can put them on here and you can put in little learning topics and they can register and you can make sure that they're learning. This is good for elite. There's different topics for senior living, skilled nursing, retail tracker. I already put that one in, Diane. That one's already in to increase the. You're welcome. I put that in a couple weeks ago when you emailed me about it. Webinars and events. So if I wanted to see a webinar on senior living, I could come in here and here's the release webinar. That was July 7th. And then there was another one on the 12th. Product topics. If you want to learn how to do something, you can come in here and here's the guide for the launcher. Here's clinical forms, resident vitals, lots of different things. We don't have some of the things because we're not a whole product. So if you see like marketing or different things, we don't do marketing through our products. And we don't do claims through senior living, so some of these don't apply to us, so you just have to learn what's ours and what's not. But it's pretty easy to navigate around and just kind of look around. There's always news, things going on, so it's kind of fun to get on here and read stuff and stay updated. So again, if you go to, if you go to eSource, and you go under the two heads, or you can go under, doesn't matter which way you get to the housing documents. If I go into housing documents, and then the assisted living toolkit, that has a lot of your areas in here, but at the bottom, it's the URLs. Well, they were in here. Where did they go? Huh. Go under Matrix. There's also a Matrix Care Senior Living videos and tools. It might be under there. URLs for assisted living matrix. So it's under there and it'll pop it up and then you can link it over. Oh, well, I don't even see the client community on here, do I? I'll email it out to you guys today. And I'll add that back on. We have a little time left. Got through that a little quicker than I thought we would. Let me go back and see if I have anything left. That was it for today. Our next meeting is August 16th. Of course, you can always forward this invite to anybody who's new in your community by just clicking on the invite itself on your calendar, and there'll be a forward button. So always feel free to forward meetings. Otherwise, I don't have anything else. I can give you back your day, and hold on, if you want to stay on, I can show you how to do your EMR work, EMR offline. If anyone's interested in how to reset your EMR offline, I can go through that right now.
That would be great. Should I go over to that computer?
Well, you need two different things. So you have to be on a computer and then you have to be by your EMR offline computer.
Okay,
So I'll do the matrix part for you.
okay.
And so you can't get on? Is that what you're
Okay.
saying?
No, no, that's fine. We'll work together. I'm in my office, so I have to get to the EMR offline computer. So I'll just walk over there. I'll take my laptop with, so we're still connected to this line.
Okay. So to start with, I'll just talk while you walk. How about that? When you need to get someone on your EMR offline, it's a little bit different for SSO users. And so I wish I could show you what it looks like, and I don't know if I can through the EMR offline. But when you pull up your tab on your EMR offline computer and you link in and it says username, password, and there's a tiny blue link under there that says setup or something, right? And when Hodan gets there, she can tell us what it exactly says. I can't remember if I have a picture or not. Let me look up EMR offline.
Good answer. Tom.
Okay. That's not the one I want. Anyway, to set up a user for EMR offline, that password never changes.
Okay,
So the first thing you have to do is you have to find their username. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna search for Hodan. So here's her username. I'm gonna click on her. I am going to change her password here under the elite. It does not affect. her
failing down
pass-
by the computer.
So changing her password in the elite side does not affect her SSO user. This has nothing to do with single sign.
I actually, my volume was off, so I didn't hear anything you said.
I'm showing them how to reset your password through the elite side. Are you watching me? Hold on.
I'm watching you, yeah.
Okay, so I come into your username through the elite. I hit change password. I'm changing it, but I have to now unclick this expire new password upon login. That's the key right here. I
Expire
also
new-
have to know what your username is in Elite because your username could be different than it is for your single sign-on. But sometimes
So-
that username's been used, so I stick a 1 here. So you
Yeah.
have to know that. Okay,
So are you changing my personal password?
not for your single sign-on. I'm just changing your password in the Elite side, which does not matter for single sign-on.
Okay, okay,
It does not affect it. The single sign-on overrides this side.
okay,
Okay, so again, your name, change password, change it, uncheck login, save it. So
okay,
now you're on the EMR offline icon, and it's only on one
Yes.
computer in your facilities, right?
yes,
So under the username, when you click on it, you'll see username, password, and then a blue one to set up.
yeah, yeah,
Click the blue one. And then you'll see username, current
Okay.
password, and then you're going to change it. So you're gonna put in your username now, which for
well,
your Elite side is HSABDI.
so is the username gonna stay the username or can I change that?
No, you cannot change your username.
Okay,
Then put in the word password 1 exclamation with a capital P 3 times.
oh,
Because we're gonna keep everyone's password the same.
what did you say? Password with a capital P and then what else?
Password 1 exclamation. And then when you hit save, it should bring you back to the front page.
Hang on, you said password at 1?
No, password 1 exclamation.
Okay. Hang on a sec.
It's my default.
Yeah, um, hang on, Linda?
Yep,
The username for EMR offline is always gonna be mine.
you will have your own username, yes. All your nurses should have their own username,
For EMR offline.
yes.
I thought EMR offline only used one username
No.
and one password for everyone.
No, your email, everyone needs their own username and password for the EMR offline. You decide who you're going to set up for that because it is a HIPAA problem that people can print, so you want to be selective, but everybody doesn't need one, but your nurses need one.
We don't have nurses at night, so the aides need one, or sometimes on the weekends. And I
Yep,
don't
then
have
you will
this-
set them up exactly like I did for you.
I always thought we would have one generic username and
No,
password.
you can't legally have one generic password and name because then you don't know who accessed it and someone took your HIPAA information and ran with it.
Huh.
So no, because then you have no way of knowing who did it.
Okay, so let me go back
Now,
to,
if
you
you
were
had a
at
night
senior
aide,
living.
you could direct your night aide and give them your username and password because this one isn't the same as what you use for Matrix.
Right,
So what was your next question?
going back to senior living,
Going back
where
to
you were
Elite,
changing.
Elite.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Elite is Matrix then?
Well, they're all Matrix products. So Matrix Elite is where the mainframe of Matrix is.
Okay,
Yep. So you find your user there to reset that password, which has nothing to do with senior living. Has nothing to do with SSO. But it does run the Elite side, or it runs the EMR offline site.
okay, so you went there, found the username, edit, and then the password that I would put in there would be the password that I'm gonna create for the EMR offline,
Correct,
and then uncheck the box.
correct. And I suggest you give everyone the word password, one exclamation.
Yep, I'll do that.
And you can set up all your staff. You can just sit by your computer, have both computers and set up your staff and then have them do it. And then they all know that this username and the word password one is how you get on the EMR offline. And then all you have to do is put in the hours you want to run, always the most 23, and then they just hit print. It'll filter out anybody who's not current because you'll see people who discharge. You don't have to go through that and pick them. You just print everybody.
Do we want full report or condensed report?
I leave everything defaulted and just put 23 hours in and what flow sheets you want.
Okay, 23 hours, and then sort
And just
order.
go to the bottom, hit your flow sheets you want, which is mostly meds. And then you would hit print. Isn't that fun?
Yeah,
And
a lot of fun.
that
So
password
we
never
did-
changes. So if you leave a password and people forget and I'm at home and they're calling me, I can look up
Yeah.
their username and then I know it's password 1 exclamation and I can walk them through it. But if
Yeah.
people start giving out other passwords now, then I can't track it. It's too much for me.
Right, no, I get that part. Will do.
And I usually try to go through that when I'm doing visits at the sites, so,
Yeah.
oh, it's just me and you now, everyone else dropped off, okay. Always just
Oh,
the
did
two
they?
of us. Yeah.
I was surprised they were still on. You're not still recording it, are you?
Yes, I'll stop. Hang
I
on,
asked you earlier, but you didn't hear me.
let me stop.